Almost every game console in the history of man has had at least one revision. Sometimes the revision even enhances the hardware, and if it does that, you might as well take advantage of it. Quite a few game consoles have had exclusive games coming out for the enhanced models of the systems, including the Sega Genesis. A company called Atgames rose the Sega Genesis from the grave from 2012 to 2018, releasing various consoles in between those years. They were considered plug-and-plays, despite the fact you could plug in your own controllers and cartridges. Specific models of these systems, exclusively distributed by Sam's of all people, came with actual cartridges. I used to think to myself, wow, a new Genesis game! I knew the quality of the games couldn't have been any good, but I still bought it simply because of the fact that it's a new Genesis game on my Genesis and I can play it on my Genesis. It doesn't fit. As I said earlier, certain redesigns of consoles have exclusive games, and this can only be played on an Atgames Genesis. I wasn't going to get beaten so easily, though. I was going to play my 10 games in one cartridge. So I went on eBay and bought it for like $10, and I bought another cartridge with it, cause why not? Yes, 12 Dino games in one. This is full of a bunch of edutainment crap, and I really have nothing to say about it, so I'm just gonna review the other one. So 10 games in one is what it sounds like. It's 10 games in one. And I don't really have any preferences in a situation like this, so I guess I'm just gonna review them in order. Adventure in the Park. It's an adventure, alright. An adventure in front. The game is a Donkey Kong clone, and you play as Donkey Kong. That spits out grapes. The game's hit detection is abysmal. It truly prevents anyone from completing this 5-level game. Yeah, that's right, 5 levels. Well, I mean, I guess comparing this to Donkey Kong, that's an extra level, but it's very short. But that doesn't mean you won't spend multiple hours trying to complete this stupid game, because it's impossible! Your projectiles only go like 2 feet in front of you, and if you do manage to kill an enemy, it respawns within 5 seconds. Which means if you're standing in the right place, it'll respawn on top of you and kill you within 1 hit, because this game doesn't give you a health bar. And also, listen to that music! Three to 10. Next game. Break the Fire Line is a Space Invaders clone. I'm starting to assume that every single game on here is going to be a clone. However, this one does its job. It's fine. But still, listen to that music. By the way, every game on this compilation has horrendous music, so I'm not going to mention it from now on. Besides that, I really hate how twitchy the controls are, and the movements on the alien invaders can be really choppy. You may think this game improves upon the last by having 10 levels this time, but you can beat every level within 20 seconds, so honestly this one's even shorter. 3.5 out of 10. Next game. Bubbles Master is a complete ripoff of Zuma. I mean, come on, it even has the Froggy! However, for what it is, it really isn't that bad. If you don't know what Zuma is, here's the gist of it. You're a Froggy that shoots out colored reflux, and you have to match up your reflux ball with 2 other reflux balls of the same color. There's a total of 100 colored balls that'll go down the pattern, and you have to dispose of them before they go into the skull's mouth. Such a simple concept makes for a fun game, and this Big Fish exclusive game has never been ported to console before, so this is pretty interesting. However, the game's not perfect, nothing in this collection can be. Instead of your cursor just going along the same path as the balls, you can move it across the entire screen, and this can make some quite annoying inaccuracies. Also, where the original Zuma had 15 levels, this one only has 3. Once again, this game is ridiculously short. But unlike the 2 games before this one's actually slightly enjoyable. 6 out of 10. Next game. Fish Tank Live is an Arkanoid clone, which that itself is a Breakout clone. And this game is almost impossible because the ball speed is super inconsistent because of how choppy the frame rate is. There's not really much else to say. It's Arkanoid with an inconsistent ball speed. 3 out of 10. Next game. Hidden Agenda is an edutainment game, I think. This game wants me to figure out if the picture on the screen matches the rule or not. What is the rule? Even the how to play section on the title screen doesn't explain it. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not willing to take the time to find out. 0 out of 10. Next game. Maze 2010 is a game where you go through mazes in the futuristic year of 2010. But you have to collect the Chaos Emeralds on the way there. There's no hazards or any enemies to speak of. The only obstacle on your way is the timer, and it gives you way too much time. The controls are kind of slow, but that won't be a problem. There's really no flaws with this game besides the fact that I'm not having fun. 2.5 out of 10. Next game. Plumbing Contest is a Time for Learning clone. I don't expect you to get that. You need to use pasta power to direct these 2 pipes together. Unlike the game I reviewed before, the timer on the top of the screen is way too strict. I've tried multiple times to beat all 10 levels, and I couldn't do it. I know I said this a lot, but there's not really anything else to say. I guess I'd give it a 3 out of 10 or something. Sparkling Truffle. It's Simon. 1 out of 10. Next game. Tropical Labyrinth is another maze game, except this one has the unique gimmick of making you turn your controller around depending on what this compass says. I'm not even joking, that's what you're supposed to do. But hey, now I can say I've held my Genesis controller like a Joy-Con. So yeah, this one's even worse than the other maze game. At least that one animated your character. This one's just lazy and teleports you wherever you click. And surprisingly, this one's the shortest of the bunch. Yes, it still has 10 mazes, but you can beat every maze within like 3 seconds. In fact, I completed the game in 1 minute and 4 seconds, as you can see here. 2 out of 10, next game. And the final game of this collection is Wall Breaking. In this game, you take place as a tank in a Bomberman-like battlefield, and you have to destroy the number of tanks at the top left of the screen says. And honestly, it's not that bad at all. It controls fine, and the game's decently long, and it even has a 2-player mode, the only game in this collection to do that. It's still far from being real Genesis game worthy, and I didn't like it as much as Bubbles Master. I'd still give it a 5 out of 10 though.
Eddie, let me go back to my home. Without me, everything's all wrong. Eddie, let me go back to my home. Let me put things back where they belong. Eddie, let me go back to my home. Without me, everything's all wrong. Eddie, let me go back to my home.